Welcome to Oschersleben for the World Sidecar Championship. And on pole position, Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead, the defending champions on the live-on-screen racing Suzuki, the Monster 1200cc Suzuki. They've set a time of 1:32.272 seconds to put themselves on pole. So the veteran, the 40-year-old Steve Webster, is looking very happy and relaxed, and so he should, with such an enormous advantage at the pointed end of the arrowhead formation of 24 outfits. Second row of the grid, Stevie Abbott is on the second row. The man who is a veteran of over 130 starts in this series. And Steve Abbott with Jamie Biggs in the chair on the Grebensek Racing Windle Yamaha is in third place. Behind him, Klaus Klaffenbock, and behind him, Jorgi Steinhausen, and the number 9 outfit of Hanks and Biggs. And then the number 11 outfit of Ian Guy and Andy Peach, Muldoon and Crone, Fisher and Long. They were the outfits that actually contested Super Pole. Webster came out on top, and Rob Fisher and Rick Long came out in 8th place on the Express Racing Windle Suzuki. And these are the rest of the guys involved. You'll have noticed the Founge brothers in 11th place from the Wirral, and further back in 17th place there, Morrissey and Cox. They are the guys who are on the second of the Excalibur Clark Grand Prix outfits. So 24 outfits in all on the line here for this Sidecar Championship. This is the number 2 outfit of Klaus Klaffenbock and Christian Parzer, who of course have suffered one disqualification in the Lausestring for insufficient ground clearance at the end of the race, and that has blown the Sidecar Series wide open, because with Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead, it had allowed them to win the last 3 races, and that means that they're absolutely dead level on points. Klaffenbock, the world's eternal runner-up, on 95 points, Woodhead and Webster on 95 points. So this is going to be a pretty tight affair. 4th place at the moment on the Grebensek Racing Yamaha in the championship on 53 points is the number 7 outfit of Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs. Abbott, he actually looks a lot younger with his helmet on, ladies and gentlemen. If you get that helmet off and see that mop of white hair underneath it, then you see a man who works hard at his business, works hard at his machinery, and runs a 1040cc, a relatively modestly sized Yamaha engine, because they have reliability problems if they pump it out any further. And also, outright horsepower isn't necessarily the answer here at this sinuous 2.27 mile circuit at Oschersleben. But the championship is at a tenuous point at the moment. There are 2 more rounds after this one, Assen next weekend and Imola at the end of the month, and they will decide the Sidecar World Championship of 2001, the FIM Sidecar World Championship of 2001. So they prepare for their warm-up lap. There may be few genuine contenders in the Sidecar World Championship, but those who are fighting each race really do make a show of it. And after a season which has swung from a walkover for Austrians Klaus Klaffenbock and Christian Parzer, Brands Hatch, the last round, saw race winners Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead go level on 95 points with Claffey, who was actually forced to retire after being struck by another outfit. The miscreants were none other than Jorg Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson, who are another one of Superside's big 4 teams. The last of them is the veteran Steve Abbott with Jamie Biggs in the chair, and they've been in the running all season, but as yet only Webster and Klaffenbock have won races, 3 race wins apiece. World Sidecar suffered a severe blow in Australia when the icy monsoon, which drowned out the second superbike race of the day, also put paid to the Sidecar event in its entirety. That left reigning world champion Webster, who'd won the previous year in Phillip Island, behind by 5 points, and with consecutive no scores in the next 3 races and wins for Klaffenbock in Monza and Donington, Webster was looking at a disaster in the making. But 3 Webber wins on the trot, one because of a disqualification for Klaffenbock in Lausestring, and the second when Claffey was taken out, as I said, at Brands Hatch, have made the last few races real nail-biters, and means that we're on 95 points apiece, and Oschersleben, right here and now this afternoon, will decide who comes out on top for the last 2 rounds, the run into the climax to the championship. The live on-screen racing Suzuki of Woodhead and Webster, the Klaffenbock racing Suzuki of Parzer and Klaffenbock. I saw Adolf Hani, the brave and lovely chap who'd been partnering Hautzenberger during the first part of the season, who used to, of course, be the passenger to Klaus Klaffenbach, and the genial 45-year-old mustachioed Swiss is still in problems with the two wrists that were broken when he and Hautzenberger had an awful crash a couple of rounds ago. And his left wrist's okay, but the right wrist still has very limited movement, and I would think that would cast some doubt over the amazingly durable Swiss passengers' chances of ever making it back on board, because I certainly think that one thing you do need is plenty of movement in both wrists and no pain from them when you're hanging onto these outfits. So Webster and Woodhead, they are on pole position. They've got behind them Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs, behind them Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Parzer, and then the fourth place outfit is Jörg Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson on the Steinhausen Racing Suzuki, and the fifth outfit is the number 9 pairing of Hanks and Biggs on their Yamaha 135.254. The sixth outfit, the number 11 outfit, Ian Guy and Andy Peach on the Live and Screen Racing Suzuki, teammates of Woodhead and Webster. Seventh place for the number 6 outfit, Stuart Muldoon and Trevor Crone, the Clark Grand Prix Excalibur Racing Yamaha. And in 8th place, the number 91 outfit, Rob Fisher, Rick Long on the Express Racing Suzuki. The sidecars line up for the Oschersleben round of World Sidecars. 28 laps. It's going to be a tough one. And that Klaffenbach Racing OPCM outfit at Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Parzer will need a rivetingly good start to get itself on track here at Oschersleben. Because they're going to have to get the better of Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. And with that arrowhead formation, the nearest people to them, actually, the guys behind them and to the right, if you're facing the direction of racing. That's Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs. So here we go, preparing for the off. When that man goes, the red lights go on. When the red lights go off, the sidecars light up. Oh, a puff of blue smoke from that thunderous machine of, oh, and look at him scorching down to the first turn. A clean start then, and they're going past us at a terrifying speed already. And as they hit the first turn, then it's Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead are at the front, and Claffey's in 3rd place. Claffey didn't make it through into 2nd. He's in 3rd place where he qualified, and what he can't do is let Webster get too far away. If Webber gets away from him, then it will be, well, the game will be really up, because we know how fast Webster and Woodhead can go around here, and if they can turn in 132s, 133s consistently, then they're going to be pretty nigh on unbeatable. Stevie Abbott going up the inside, trying to get through into 4th place, having not made such a good start. But I think the man who has made a good start is the number 3 outfit of Jörg Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson. They blitzed through.
Considering where they came from, they got off the line really good. I really expected Steve Webster to be gone, but they're right on his tail already. As much as I'd like Steve Webster to get away and get a clear track, it'd be really good to see a few hanging on to him. It's really difficult to pass around here, so if we do see some passing here, or when we do see some passing, it's going to be spectacular. It's really narrow, apart from the start-finish, which is sort of normal width of a racetrack. Really tight and twisty, not a lot of passing opportunities, so these guys maybe have to use a little bit more, use the curb seed and the grass. They can stick the passengers over the grass in a few spots just to make some passes stick.
The Clark Grand Prix, the Excalibur Clark Grand Prix outfit of Muldoon and Crone has made an awful start, back in 11th place when they'd qualified well in 6th position.
Yeah, there's a
Klaffenbach goes into 2nd place. Whoops, a daisy, and the number 17 outfit spinning its way round already and getting back on track. That's Peter Schroeder and Yui Waffler in the Swiss Schroeder Racing Suzuki, but fortunately they've got going again.
For a moment there, I could see they were going the wrong way around. I wondered what had happened, got a little bit disorientated. There was a red and yellow outfit at the back. I'm not sure if it was Muldoon's, if the Muldoons were in trouble, or it was another pairing with the red and yellow outfit. I don't see. Oh, it looks like they're about 8th now.
Klaffenbach, the OPCM Klaffenbach Racing Suzuki, has burst through into 2nd place, and another, oh, they've spun again, or now they've broken down. So that number 17 outfit of Peter Schroeder and Uwe Waffler.
Steve Webster's not disappearing. Maybe they've got an oil leak or something and keep spinning off, but they're pointing the wrong way in the racetrack again.
So really, they need some help in getting that machine off the racetrack before these guys come tanking past and find them sitting there. Oh, digging up the grass a bit down that blistering stadium straight at the back. And oh, York Steinhausen trying to make a move across, but he's just a bit too late.
You might see some alternative lines here. The solos quite often are on the grass and throwing up a smoke screen or a dust screen at different parts of the track. So I'd imagine you see these guys doing the same, if not a little bit more.
Through the last turn then, Steve Webster is in the lead. Reverend, he and Klaus Klaffenbach absolutely glued together on 95 points apiece in the championship. So can Webbo do anything to get himself into a clear lead for the first time? His retaining his championship looked a lost cause at one point, but he's managed to recoup with those 3 wins in the last 3 rounds. Webster, Klaffenbach, Steinhausen, 4th place for Stevie Abbott, 5th place for Ian Guy, 6th place Hank, 7th Fisher, 8th Van Giels, 9th Gottlieb, 10th place now for Muldoon, who's got past Rob Cameron, 12th place for Hayakawa, the number 24 outfit of Yun Hayakawa and Yusuri Kobe on the Kumano Racing Suzuki. So the Japanese riders who started off the season inexperienced and slow, but have got quicker all year.
Number 9, Tom Hanks, he's actually the fastest man on the track. He's got the fastest lap so far, 1:36.592, which compares with Steve Webster's fastest lap in practice, 1:32.272.
But Steve does get some pretty brutal qualifying tyres in, doesn't he? So perhaps this is what he's going to run on race wear.
He is exceptional. I'm sure race pace will be a fair bit slower, so it may well be in the 1:35 bracket once they get going.
And that Tom Hanks outfit is really making progress. He's dived inside someone else coming onto the straight there. So Tom Hanks coming through. He's now through to 5th place ahead of Ian Guy and Andy Peach. So here he is on the FTC motorcycles, the Hanks racing machine, really making progress.
If instead of driving home from work, you were driving across a whole continent, what would you take with you? You'd take Drive. It's a 4-CD set with the 60 most exhilarating open-air tracks ever written. Eric Clapton, Chris de Burgh, Fleetwood Mac, and the Christians. John and Vangelis, Eurythmics, Elton John, and In Excess. But you can't buy it in the shops. You have to order by phone. With a 4-hour lineup of classic artists like these, it just hits the road and keeps going.
My name is Luca. I live on the 2nd floor. Somehow I'll find my way
home. To get your copy, call now.
I've never known a girl like you.
Inside, we know great music when we hear it.
You like motor racing? You'll love this. 3 championships in one brilliant weekend. F2000, the European Touring Car Championship, FIA GT. For who, what, where, when and how, go to Eurosport.com. The Eurosport Super Racing Weekend from the Nürburgring, qualifying Saturday 2200, the races Sunday at 17:30.
So Hanks and Biggs, remember the Biggs family is everywhere in British sidecar racing, so we've got 2 Biggses out there in the chair, and Tom Hanks has one of them, and the other one is hanging in there just ahead of him with Steve Abbott. In fact, they're lying 4th and 5th, the 2 brothers.
And Hanks is on a Yamaha, as is Steve Abbott. The Yamahas definitely seem to work well around here. The Suzukis have been pretty dominant everywhere, but the Yamahas seem to work well around here in Oschersleben. Maybe the twisty type of circuit that benefits them.
Oh, and Stevie Abbott, having almost made a move around York Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson, then dives across to the other side and tries to get round him.
Klaffenbox are into the lead.
Klaffenbox have gone through into first place, so Klaffenbox and Parts are in first place, and Stevie Webster has got the number 3 outfit of Steinhausen and Hopkinson, the Steinhausen Racing Suzuki. Remember, his dad was a double world champion back in the 70s, so he ought to know the trade. Steinhausen there, who's not suffering as much with that trapped nerve in his back now. They seem to have sorted that out a little bit for him, because it was causing him acute discomfort a few rounds ago.
Although he is still using the power shifter on, it's a right-hand gear change on a sidecar, he's still using that to change gear. It's almost like when you don't see Steve Webster disappearing, he's almost like he's got a problem. I'm sure he hasn't got a problem, but the racing is so much closer this week. And Steve Webster not dominating and disappearing into the countryside.
Well, this is far from being a pure horsepower track, isn't it? So we need torque, but we don't need out-and-out power at the top, which is that why Stevie Abbott's gone for the 1040 engine? Is it actually a question that's quite sufficient around here?
I'm not sure if it's a reliability thing, but the 1040 seems to work quite well as opposed to the 1120 Yamaha.
And I just stand up to see them streaking past me side by side, and Stevie Webster gathering a huge draft from Klaffenbock there and streaking past into the lead. Go all the way around the hotel curve, right in front of the balcony where we're staying, which is a splendid view of this Oschersleben circuit. And behind them, Steinhausen still hanging on there. He's perhaps lost a couple of vehicle lengths. Stevie Abbott and Jamie Biggs and Tom Hanks looking very impressive. Hanks has been steadily improving, really, except when he dislocated his passenger's shoulder at Monza last year and put them out for a little while. They really have been coming on since they first entered the World Championship early last year.
Klaffenbox really hanging on there. Steve Webster able to pass him on the straight. He pulls out his slipstream here on the start-finish straight into turn 1. Maybe just got a slightly better drive or a better slipstream down there. It looked like he had a horsepower advantage, but I'm sure it was more a slipstreaming advantage. But Klaffenbock certainly more than a match from him around the corners. There's dust everywhere. The worry that causes is that the guys behind them, especially if it's some of the tail enders that leave a lot of dirt or dust on the track, when the leaders come back round, they're not aware that there's anything on the track. And some of the tight and twisty corners here could just cause some problems, the debris on the track.
That ruthlessly fit passenger of Stevie Webster's, Paul Woodhead, hanging over the back wheel of the big Suzuki as they come back down onto the start and finish straight to complete 5 laps out of 28. And Stevie Abbott, that 1040cc Yamaha engine, just beginning to lose contact a bit with the leaders as we lose, is that number 16? That must be Barry Fleury with his with Ben Birchall in the chair, going grass tracking, and actually he'd probably be quicker on the grass. So Barry Fleury rejoins the track. He was down, well, he was certainly outside the top 18. At the moment, we've got Cameron 10th, Fisher 11th, Hayakawa 12th, 13th, Leichty, 14th, the Founds brothers, but they'll be a bit disappointed with that after a good qualifying time, and 15th for the number 20 outfit of Dan Morrissey and Mark Cox, the second of the Clark Grand Prix boys.
They're off Steinhausen. He's just stuck in the fastest lap, 1:33.756, so not a million miles away from qualifying times now. Qualifying times were 32s and they're now into the 33s.
I'm delighted to hear you make that mistake and call him Rolf Steinhausen,
yeah.
because I knew you'd date yourself in the end to Mackenzie.
At least I got his surname right.
The former double world champion who runs this team, which of course featured Steve Webster. Steve Webster was the number 1 until his son started developing a bout of the sulks and feeling like he was having to hold back for Webber all the time. And now Steinhausen has indeed proved this year that he's almost on the pace of Webster and Klaffenbock when conditions allow. And of course, he's on home territory. And certainly, breathtaking move there by Klaus Klaffenbock, and gives it York Steinhausen a chance to get past the punch-drunk Webster as well.
Yeah, he got double whammy there, and also Steve Abbott was able to move in on him as well.
And that, of course, in part is due to the fact that these guys are working inspired on home turf. Certainly it's as close to home territory that the Austrian gets, and it's home territory for the German. And this is what happens. Klaffenbock goes through, and shaves paint off. Whoa, look at that. You keep your elbow in. Ooh, Paul Woodhead even have to lift his head slightly, and suddenly there's room for Steinhausen to say thanks very much, I'll go through as well. Remember, of course, part British. There's a British passenger in there with Steinhausen. That's Trevor Hopkinson.
Fair play to Paul Woodhead. He hardly flinched. He did raise his head a little bit, but
it was only a millimetre or two.
He wasn't letting him pass whatever. But
well, have you looked into that man's eyes? Have you seen sanity in that man's eyes?
Well, yeah. Well, I daren't say otherwise, but yeah, I'm sure he's quite sane. Well, no, he's not quite sane. He's a sidecar passenger, so I nearly experienced that at Donington, but managed to dip my way out of it. But again,
yeah, that phony back problem.
High-sided a mini motor and had a big back problem. But Steve Webster's not getting all his own way this week.
He's certainly not, but he comes up the inside to try and get a roof. These guys, they're certainly ruthless with one another, aren't they? They just don't give one another any spare coat of paint at all. And then once they get those, they become two-wheelers when they get those third wheels in the air. And it's pretty exciting stuff, this. Klaffenbach leads, Steinhausen second.
Steve Webster in third place, and it's so...
Steve Webster in third place, but can he get back on terms? What I'm impressed with is Steinhausen. Steinhausen, of course, hasn't won a race this year. The race wins have been shared equally by Webbo and Claffey. So could he actually be in for it for the first time? There's Hanks and Biggs. They are in fifth place. Sixth place, Ian Guy and Andy Peach on outfit number 11, the second of the live on screen guys. And they're followed by number 8, the Van Giels outfit from the Netherlands, as once more Steinhausen this time gets forced out wide. And there seem to me to be, there are more overtaking opportunities for the three-wheelers, Neil, than there were for the two-wheel boys.
I mean, it is narrow for the two-wheelers, but of course the sidecars can put the passengers over the grass or over the curbs, or use more of the curbs than the solos can. So in some ways there's probably more passing opportunities, certainly more for the sidecars than there are for the solos. I didn't quite realise that until I started watching here. It's so good to see Steve Webster having to work, because there's so many races this year he's had it all his own way, and he just seems to do it so easily, mainly because of his brilliance as a sidecar driver and Paul Woodhead as a passenger. But it's really nice to see him having to dig deep and sort of bring out all the talent that's brought him to all these world championships. But it's not getting his own way, and it's really
Barry Fleury gets right in the way of York Steinhausen. Well, he didn't need that going through the Shell S's, did he? And that's cost him a vital. He's really got his toe broken there. That could make a big difference. Toe T-O-O, that is, not toe T-O-E. And he's as he comes down onto the start and finish straight, it could be that he's lost those big two in front of him.
I think he meant T-O-W as opposed to T-O-O turn. Oh, he's back in front.
Steve Webster gets back to the front. 20 laps to go out of 28. And this, the battle of the big boys. 95 points apiece in the championship.
Klaus Klaffenbach's up for a victory on...
He's got to be up for a victory here, hasn't he? This is the virtual home territory for him. 75 points, third place for Heinz Steinhausen and Hopkinson in the championship. So they really do need to stay in touch with these guys if they can possibly make it back. They had set the fastest lap. Webbo's just gone 133.274 to snatch the 134, the 133 point whatever it was lap record, or fastest lap so far from York Steinhausen. So suddenly Webster's trying to make a break, and Steinhausen quickly come right back onto the rear, almost onto the rear wheel of Klaffenbach and Partzer.
Well, we can keep our eye on the lap times now and see if Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead were just having a little warm-up, a little play, see if they're getting serious now and see what lap times they produced. Last lap was the fastest lap, 133.274, so we'll see what this lap brings.
Stevie Abbott, who's in fourth place in the race, is fourth in the championship with 53 points, just 2 points ahead of Muldoon and Trevor Crone. They are on 51 points, joint fifth with Locher and Leichty, who've mainly really on their Kawasaki, the Swiss pairing, been consistent. At the moment they're lying in 11th place. They've never been lighting races up, but they have been consistent. But these are the big three at the front right now, except for that number 26, deceptively looking like he's leading at the moment. Let's hope that he can get out of the way fairly swiftly. That's Sébastien Delanoy and Jérôme Vanier on the French Team Sand Seb 72 Pascu Suzuki.
Well, Jörg Steinhausen, he's set the fastest lap that lap, 132.792, so he's on the roll now.
Delanoy looks behind him and desperately tries to get out of the way as they surge round him there. Oh, what a sight as the three of them go absolutely nose to tail round the left-hander. And Stevie Abbott's not that far behind, is he? But he's just not quite able to sustain their pace. Abbott's last lap 1:34 dead, and they're doing 1:32.9, 1:30 and 1:32.7, 1:33.5 for Klaffenbach. Klaffenbach had a poor lap in that one, relatively.
I think he just lost out at the back marker then.
I don't know what that was, trailing off the, and I think that might have been a foot. I hope Trevor Hopkinson almost losing his footing there. 1:32.792. He's dipped deeper into the 1:32s. That number 3 outfit, and red rag to a bull. The fact that Webbo and Klaffenbach have got ahead of him, and he got balked by the back marker and has had to regroup and come again.
James Whittam says the blue and white curbs are fine, they're really smooth, but the red and white curbs that are on the inside of the blue and white curbs are not fine, they're really bumpy, and you saw Klaus Klaffenbach put his third wheel over the red curbs coming through the Bilstein chicane.
That curb on the left-hand side, as you come onto the onto the back straight, is we'll see it in a few moments, is actually really, really rough. Carl Muggeridge pointed out to me last night that that's one blue and white curb you don't want to get onto. Not even these guys.
In a huge night of World Cup football, British Eurosport has the highlights from...
Steve Webster round the last turn, amazing stuff. He's carved his way through there, and Klaffenbach has struggled to keep anywhere near him. Now there have been times in the past when Klaffenbach has shown himself not to be quite as adept at dealing with back markers as Steve Webster, and this is another occasion. He's only got Steenbergen now, the number 12 outfit of Paul and Rennie Steelbergen from the Steenbergen Racing Suzuki from the Netherlands.
Well, that's why Webster is so brilliant. He's got some drizzle thrown in just for good measure.
But it doesn't seem to be troubling him nor slowing him down too much. He's gone to 134.5 on that lap, but Claffey was 135.3. That's the difference the back marker's made. And Klaffenbach has still got to get past 2 of these guys yet. He gets past another one. He gets past the number 19 outfit of Chris and Peter Founds on their Founds Racing LCR Suzuki. The boys from the Wirral, the boys from just up the road from me, in fact. And in fact, Jörg Steinhausen hasn't yet managed to squeeze past the Founds brothers either. The Founds brothers, remember, made an awful start to the year with a huge crash. Oh! And he gets through them this time by, well, trying to demolish them, really, or riding over the top of them. The Founds brothers actually red flagged the race, their debut race at Valencia, the first round, and did themselves a power of no good, put themselves out for a couple of rounds by just getting onto the white line and turning sharp right into the barriers with a huge impact at the beginning of the race.
I think if these back markers have benefited anyone, it's Jörg Steinhausen. He's closer now to Klaus Klaffenbach than he was before they got on the back of these back markers.
So there's Klaffenbach. There is Steinhausen. I would want to get a good result if I was Jörg Steinhausen, because I know he'd got his dad to face when he gets back to the pits. And a fearsome-looking man he is as well, with his bristling handlebar moustache and his mane of white hair. So Jörg Steinhausen at the moment in 3rd place, but he's 5.9 seconds behind Webster after 15 of 28 laps, just after half distance.
So you reckon he gets a cuff and a lug like an errant schoolboy motocrosser?
Well, I always feel that that's what Rolf Steinhausen would be capable of, yes. But I might be completely misreading the man.
Misjudging him.
Abbott's gone past in 4th place. 5th place, Hanks. We're waiting for Ian Guy and Andy Peach. They will go, when they get past, they'll be lying in 6th place, or 1st and 6th for the live on-screen racing team. And look at that man, Jörg Steinhausen. He loves power sliding that Suzuki, doesn't he? The more power he has, the more he likes to play with it. I don't necessarily even think it makes him go any quicker, but he loves doing it anyway. There's the Steenbergens and Founds, Becker, Hayakawa, Morrissey, and Lechty. If you glimpse the green Kawasaki outfit, the number 10 outfit, there they are, just coming into picture ahead of Danny Morrissey in the number 20 red and yellow outfit. And then he's going to find himself coming under fire from the other people who are trying to get through and lap him, really. So other people are going to have to deal with that squabbling bunch.
I'm pleased to say the rain doesn't seem to have come to anything. There's a slight drizzle there, but it seems to have dried up and gone away for the moment.
And this is the Austro-German battle now that's developing for 2nd place. It looks as if Webster has... Incidentally, Webber will not be the first British winner should he survive and win this race, because delighted to say we had a British 1-2, or should I say an Anglo-Irish 1-2, in the morning European Superstock race when James Ellison took his Suzuki to victory ahead of Irishman Marty Nutt. So Marty Nutt finally getting his just desserts with a second place, and that was despite the fact they'd been comprehensively out-qualified by Walter Tortoroglio, Ellison's great rival. They certainly beat him up in the race.
That was lap 16 that just completed, and Steve Webster's just put in another fastest lap, 1:32.443, which is not far away from his pole position qualifying time, which was 1:32.272.
Wow, so all credit to Webber. He's obviously capable of running at virtually the same time as his qualifying time. And that's pretty remarkable. 32.443. Claffey was on 1:33.8, exactly the same as Steinhausen. So he really is leaving the German pairing behind. And it's Munich all over again from last night and the World Cup football. There's Dan Morrissey, the number 20 outfit with Mark Cox in the chair. I wonder if that was the Mark Cox who used to play tennis at Wimbledon, the former Davis Cup star. Who knows? We'll have to find out. And that's York Steinhausen.
Yeah.
Oh, he really knows how to play games with that outfit, doesn't he? It gets even better in slow-mo.
Oh, it's so good to watch. That's definitely bigger black lines than Colin Edwards was leading in the second Superbike race.
Oh, and we've someone's lost his sidecar passenger. What do you think you're doing? He's saying it's funny how these guys are never very pleased. I'd just be relieved the passengers survived in one piece.
I reckon he stopped. He just nipped to the portaloos.
He's going to join on. Oh, I thought for a moment he was going to sit directly on the passenger seat right behind him there. But oh, and are they're going to restart? What's going on exactly? I can't even see on our brilliant screen here what number that is. But anyway, they seem to have restarted. And I'll just get up on my feet and see them go past. That's the only way. Oh, I missed them. Was that number 22? I think it may have been number 22. And if it was one of...
Oh, he lost his passenger here. Oh, nasty.
Oh, the passenger did well to hang on that long, but eventually gets thrown out at the back. Oocha.
He's just in the wrong position and not expecting...
And I think that was Mike Roscher and Huey Newbert on the ADAC Saxon RSC racing outfit.
He didn't easily...
No, it wasn't. It was the number 72 outfit, which is Huey Gottlieb and Mike Heilbig. So it was Mike Heilbig on the Gottlieb racing team.
Looks like as...
one of the Grand Prix racing, the Clark Grand Prix Excalibur racing team boys is out at the back, so we'll have to look for which one of them is in trouble. I think it might be Muldoon. I don't think
they haven't come past yet.
Muldoon hasn't come past. I think it is the number 6 outfit. Oh, Muldoon and Trevor Crone. What a shame for them, because they were lying in a pretty good position in the championship. They were on 51 points, just 2 points behind Abbott and Biggs in 5th place. Chunks of rubber or something being thrown around down the start strip.
Webster getting faster and faster. He's just gone faster than his pole time now, 1:31.790.
So Steve Webster really proving his grit here. And look at Steve Abbott. Abbott is not that far away, actually. 6.8 seconds behind Steinhausen. He's hanging on to the Germans with 10 laps to go. Who knows, he might just start to wear them down.
Well, I reckon they were all going to use the hardest possible compound tyres because of the twists and just the length of this racetrack, the length of the race and the tight, twisty racetrack. There's high track temperature or high tyre temperature. So it may well be that tyres are just coming into their own now. They're on lap 18 of 28, so it may well be that they're getting more and more grip as the race goes on. I wouldn't imagine they would have done this many laps on these tyres during practice.
No, I don't think they get practice stints that are long enough for them to, actually, these guys.
Pleasant surprise for Steve Webster.
Fastest lap 1:31.79 as he starts to get away from the lapped outfit of Barry Fleury and Ben Birchall, who of course have taken the Team Fleury racing machine on an excursion, on the unscheduled excursion on the grass earlier in the race. If Jane Fleury watches this and wonders if she wants to retire,
I'm sure she wants to be out there.
I'm sure she does. I didn't mean it, Jane. I know that you want to be back out there racing with your beloved. And here we come, up the start and finish straight, and any moment now, we pull out of the slipstream. They go streaking past us now, the number 25 outfit of Rob Cameron and Tony Darby, the Team Cameron racing outfit. God, it's amazing how names cross-fertilise in this game. Why is he banging? Yeah. Why is Paul Woodhead banging? Oh,
there's a problem.
There's a problem for Steve Webster. Paul Woodhead. Is Paul Woodhead in trouble?
He's looking back. I'm not quite sure.
I don't know whether it's Woodhead or the machine that's in trouble, but something's wrong. And Steve Webster,
unbelievable.
Just as he'd slaughtered the lap times, suddenly we've got a battle for the lead. The OPCM Klaffenbach outfit just inches ahead of York Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson, and I bet both of these guys, I bet Steinhausen's been inspired by that. He's managed to close down on the back of him. And is that because, well, it's nothing to do with Paul Woodhead and that knee that he damaged in Australia. It's something wrong with the outfit.
And now there's a battle on for the lead, a serious battle.
A serious battle for the lead then on home ground between the Austrian and the German here at Oschersleben. Wow, this has suddenly turned into a mini epic. Oh, and the number 16 outfit of that man, Barry Fleury, has got in the way. Oh, Steinhausen will be seething. Absolutely seething.
Another spinner.
There's another spinner.
They all spin coming out the last turn.
The last turn is catching them out as they go uphill into it. That's the number 24 out of Yun Hayakawa and Yuzuri Kobe on the Kumano Racing outfit from Japan. They were involved in that huge scrap for around 11th, 12th place, 10th place even. 9th place now for the Rennie Steenbergen and his brother. In fact, Steenbergen in 9th place, 10th place for Chris and Peter Founds. But look at that. That's what the damage Barry Fleury has done to the battle for the lead. He got between those two, and really, that's not on. And it's cost Jörg Steinhausen a lot of time. So Klaus Klavenbock has got away a little bit of a break ahead of the German man.
You like motor racing? You'll love this. 3 championships in one brilliant weekend. F2000, the European Touring Car Championship, FIA GT. For who, what, where, when and how, go to Eurosport.com. The Eurosport Super Racing Weekend from the Nürburgring, qualifying Saturday 2200, the races Sunday at 17:30.
Eurosport.co.uk, and a new British dimension to Europe's favourite.
Into the final turn. We'll have 4 laps to go after this one, and Steve Abbott has got to find a way past the more potent Suzuki, and of course the Suzuki gets away from him initially coming up the straight, and there's not really a lot that they can do about that. They try and pull out of the slipstream, but they haven't. Yes, they have. Oh, no they haven't, not quite.
Steve Abbott has heaps more grip than Jörg Steinhausen does, particularly around this section. This is where Steinhausen gets completely sideways, and Steve Abbott looks on rails comparatively.
But he's got to find the straight line speed to get past him, hasn't he? And slipstream him or some way in which he can get inside him and outbrake him.
Well, he's getting off the corner so much better, and he may well just get enough drive to get in his slipstream and get back out and get past on the brakes.
More back markers to come. Well, back marker, when you're in 6th place, you're hardly a back marker, but Van Giels has just been lapped by Klavenbock, who's, remember, still at the front and will go for a 25-point maximum.
Oh.
Steinhausen. I think I've just nominated Jörg Steinhausen as the driver I want to see you do a couple of laps with.
No,
is that all right now?
No, thank you.
You'd love it. You'd love it. I saw you riding at Knockhill. You'd love it. And the Van Giels are probably coming up to lap. No, they're not. Yes, they are. They're trying to get past Danny Morrissey just as... Oh, and that's a great move by Steve Abbott, sensing that Jörg Steinhausen might have got blocked by the prospect of 2 outfits ahead of him. Oh, and he got grass track. Oh, he spun it! And he spins it round. Oh, Steinhausen, brilliantly. But he's lost his passenger and he hasn't realised it. He's got to stop. He's got to go back. Trevor Hopkinson is off it. Steinhausen has Trevor Hopkinson running up the circuit after him. Oh, poor old Trevor. How far is he expected to run? He doesn't look like the fittest man in the world, but I don't think he's going to catch him because I don't think the guy's realised yet. And remember how he sacked his last passenger when he threw him out at Monza and was livid with him, and he's just realised now he'd looked round. He can't believe it. He's done it to somebody else. Sorry, mate, but you can't drive like that and expect your passengers to hang on. Now, can he run far enough to catch up with him, or is that the end of their race? No, he's got an artificial hip there. He can't manage that. Trevor Hopkinson's had enough. Oh, poor Jörg Steinhausen. After the entertainment he's given us, he didn't deserve that, but he got that sidecar wheel so high, and poor Trevor Hopkinson could not keep it down. And finally, he went for the... It looks like he went for a handful, but this isn't a grass tracking outfit.
Where the passenger just looked like... I think he must have lost his grip when he set off again. And
yeah, I think if Steinhausen hadn't taken off quite as brutally, I think Trevor had just about stayed on board.
Yeah.
At that point, he hurt his leg. They must have hurt his leg then. No wonder he didn't feel like running on too far, because he almost got his leg run over. Brave man.
He didn't break his leg.
So So Steinhausen takes straight off, and poor Hopkinson stands up with a wobbly left leg.
A quick glance to see if the passenger was there wouldn't have been a miss there.
It wouldn't, no, but unfortunately he doesn't do that, because we know that from when he arrived at the Ascari Curves without Hopkinson's predecessor in the chair, and was absolutely livid with him. And in fact, that gentleman then decided, sorry, I've forgotten his name, then decided very sensibly to announce his retirement.
So do you understand why I might not want to be a lap with him now, Jack?
I'm beginning to see why you might not. And all that mayhem has left Klaffenbach only that far ahead, 1.3 seconds ahead of Abbott. Abbott's last lap was 33.7, Claffey's was 34.4, and Steinhausen looking, oh, look at him, he does get furious with this. He's got no right to be angry with a passenger who has that sort of problem, surely.
I wouldn't say that was the passenger's fault.
I wouldn't have said so. No, if you want to go grass tracking and spin around with the third wheel high in the air, no.
It's too bad Steve Abbott didn't have a few more laps, because he's definitely making inroads into Klaus Klaffenbach.
He certainly is getting there, isn't he? That OPCM Klaffenbach racing machine suddenly has got company from that Grevenseck racing outfit of the old warhorse himself.
I don't think he certainly hasn't got a power advantage. He's probably at a power disadvantage, but he's got heaps more grips, just turns so much better and doesn't get sideways.
I'd like to know if Steve Abbott raced against Rolf Steinhausen, if he's racing against a second generation of Steinhausen. I think it's quite possible.
Yeah, I'm sure he definitely did.
That's all right. Can I put that forward for Coleman balls in private eye? I'm sure he definitely did. I like that one. And up the back straight, look at the way he's closing on him. Oh, come on, Steve. But this is the 26th lap. He's only got one more after this. This is the 27th lap. They've completed 26 out of 28. This is the 27th lap, and Klaffenbach must know that he's not only got company, but can he hold him off? Claffey getting very wide into the final turn, and now if Abbott can get near enough, well, who knows? And it depends a little bit on back markers, because Abbott is so good at pulling a move when back markers come into play. Claffey's not at his best with back markers, but he has got an awful lot of power, and he's got superior straight line speed.
Well, Steve Abbott's got an awful lot of grip. And a back marker in front here.
This could be it. This is going to be very interesting. Two back markers in front. Oh no, it's going to be really sort of seat of the pants stuff. Who's going to make the right move at the right time? Oh no, it's not Barry Fleury again. I can't believe it. No, perhaps I'm doing him a disfavour. I think he's going to, whoever it was has got out wide and got out of the way.
It cost Klaffenbach some time though.
That was the number 26, my apologies to Mr. Fleury, the number 26 outfit of Delanoy and Vanier getting lapped for a second time by the leaders. And there's another one ahead of them yet.
He's got one more chance.
Oh,
he's definitely going to hold him up.
Dieter Eilers and Andreas Kollock just getting in the way there, but I got a feeling that it's not going to benefit Abbott. Oh, Abbott's got stuck. No, just when he didn't need it at a narrow part of the course. And the 27 outfit of Dieter Eilers and Andreas Kollock, a German outfit, would you believe, the Rentrim Eilers LCR Suzuki. Well, they got in the way at just the right moment to benefit Klaus Klaffenbach and kill off our grandstand finish. Yeah, so Klaus Klaffenbach is going to go in for, I suspect, a 25-point maximum haul, which will take it to 120 points against Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead, marooned on 95. Steinhausen, however, has not scored, which is a great news for Webster, because he would have drawn level if he'd got second place. And look at this finish. Klaus Klaffenbach, a gallant Stevie Abbott, so close to winning that one. But Klaffenbach, he's pretty pleased with that, and so is Christian Partzer. They take the victory here at Oschersleben. But Biggs and Abbott, they go from 53 to 73 points, just 2 points behind the third-placed outfit of Steinhausen and Hopkinson. And let's not forget Tom Hanks and Hanks and Biggs. So two Biggses are going to be, the Biggs and the Biggs are going to be on the rostrum, because Tom Hanks has ridden a bit of a belter and he's ended up in third place on the Hanks Racing Yamaha. So two Yamahas on the podium as they dive inside Dan Morrissey and Mark Cox. They are heading for 13th place, 2 laps down. And Ian Guy and Andy Peach will also be on the same lap as the leaders in the second, well, the surviving live on screen racing team outfit. And don't burst into tears, Claffey. You've actually got to win. Perhaps he has done. Perhaps he's an emotional chap, and he's won in Oschersleben, remember, as near as he gets to home turf. A win then for Klaus Klaffenbach, and that gives him once again a clear lead in the championship. Remember, he had a clear lead at the start, and an animated discussion here between Jan Hayakawa and Yuzuri Kobe, the Japanese lads, who look as if did they manage to finish? Yes, they did. They finished in 11th place, 2 laps down. So at least they're only having a discussion about what might have been rather than what wasn't. The winners, however, Klaus Klaffenbach, and our hats off to Steve Abbott. Hanks and Biggs in 3rd place, Ian Guy, Andy Peach in 4th. So the 3 British outfits, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, despite the demise of Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead. Van Giels and Van Giels, Founds and Founds. 7th place, Gottlieb and Helbig. 8th place, Rocha Neuber. The German teams having some good results on home territory. Steenbergen and Boiserd from the Netherlands are 9th. 10th place, Eilers and Kolloch. 11th, Hayakawa and Kobe. And 12th, Morrissey and Copps. Rounding out the points, Reuter, Langschadl, and the 2 laps and 3 laps down for Fleury and Pointer, Delanoy and Vanier. Well, they still end up with a few points in the bag. And there is confirmation that Klaffenbach has a 120 points, has a 25-point lead once more in the championship. Webbo's got it all to do again with 2 rounds to go next weekend at Assen and the end of the month, we think, at Imola. Steinhausen 3rd, just 2 points now ahead of Stevie Abbott. Come on, Stevie boy. Hanks in 5th place, and again, notice the gap, only 12 points between Abbott and Hanks. So Tom Hanks is really coming on strong in the second half of the season. Ian Guy and Andy Peach move into 6th ahead of Muldoon and Lechty. So that was a fairly dramatic race here in the World Sidecar Championship, and Klaffenbach keeping up the consistent run of race wins. He shared them directly, 3 wins apiece with Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead until today. He's now taken the lead, 4 wins to 3, so he's the man on 120 points. Steve Abbott, he's so near and yet so far. He'll be pleased with that 2nd place, but because he's an amiable sort of craggy old character. I don't think he's here just to win. He's here to enjoy himself as well. But he knows it was pretty close there, Neil.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure he's here to win. He's certainly serious. He's been serious a few times this year, and he's not scared to stick a pass on whoever it may be. There was a fairly memorable one at Donington on the last lap into the last left-hander onto start-finish straight.
So here's Tom Hanks and Phil Biggs, and you'll be able to tell which is the Biggs when you see another Biggs come up, because there's a distinct brotherly resemblance when Jamie Biggs comes up as part of the 2nd place outfit with that rugged old-timer Steve Abbott. There we are. And there's Biggs number 2 on the left, the sandier-haired one of the pairing. I should hope he's going to shake his brother by the hand. As faintly embarrassed Stevie Abbott, he must have wondered what was happening when he clawed back the advantage so fast. But finally, he couldn't quite make it to victory, and a hug there for Stevie Abbott. Good ride, pal. Give you a big sweaty kiss. I don't think Steve's into that sort of thing, is he? You don't do that sort of thing in Nottinghamshire. Bet you don't do it in Riddings, Derbyshire, rather.
We do some kissing in Glasgow. It's called the Glasgow kiss. Mainly on a Saturday night when somebody spills your pint.
Thankfully, we haven't had one of them on the rostrum yet, and we trust you'll keep them off the rostrum, Mr. Mackenzie. That's one good reason for us not to welcome Mr. Mackenzie back into racing full-time, folks, in case the Glasgow kiss strikes.
Comes into force.
Tom Hanks, of course, remember, is another son of a famous racing father, the great Fred Hanks, a TT winner, rather like Steve Abbott was himself. I wonder if that's another 2 generations that Stevie Abbott's raced against. I'll have to ask him how many double generations he's been against now. He's probably been against both Steinhausens as well. The list is endless.
Right then.
Klaus Klaffenbach, then, he's the winner. Christian Partzer, who we know doesn't speak a word of English, here is in 2nd place, and they get he's the passenger to the winner, sorry, and they get a nice gold cup to take home. I think you're right about Steve Abbott. I think he's disappointed. I think he felt he was pretty close to that. And in fact, if he'd had a clean run through that last lap, I think he would have had it. But anyway, it's all ifs, buts and maybes. The winners, Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Partzer, here at Oschersleben.
You've had so much trouble this weekend, and to come out today with a win, you're now 25 points ahead of Webster.
It's unbelievable. After this practice in this weekend, it's unbelievable, and we are so happy. I'm sure we are not the fastest today, but the luckiest. I have to say thank you to both of the Steves, especially to Steve Abbott. And now we are 25 points in front, and we hope we can bring this to the end of the season.
And it's so good to do it here with all your sponsors here as well?
Yes, for me it's very important because all the sponsors are here, and so I have to say thank you to my mechanic that did a great job last night, till 5 minutes before the start, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Klaus. And Christian, very big slide out there today.
Yeah, it's a very hard weekend. The engine is broken, and ich bin natürlich very happy here.
Okay, congratulations. Thank you, Klaus and Christian.
So congratulations to Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Parter, surviving an awful weekend in which they blew up a couple of engines, but they finally survived in fine style to defeat Steve Webster, who unluckily retired, and this man, Stevie Abbott, with Jamie Biggs on board. Congratulations to them for second place, and a great ride by Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Parter. They are the new world title leaders. From Jack Bernicle and Neil Mackenzie, bye-bye.